solve a question on the profit maximization in case of monopolist with advertising cost. The question is, let the demand and cost function of a monopolist be. We are being given the demand function as P is equal to 100 minus 3Q plus 4 under root A, where P denotes the price, Q is the output, A denotes the advertising expenditure. This is the demand function for the monopolist, and its cost function is equal to C, which is equal to 4Q square plus 10Q plus A, where A is the advertising expenditure. We have to find out the value of advertising expenditure, output and price that maximizes the monopolist's profit here. Okay, so first thing is we will find out the profit function for the monopolist, and we know profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Okay, that means profit will be equal to total revenue is price into output minus we have the total cost function, which gives us what is price function, that is the inverse demand function. It is here 100 minus 3Q plus 4 in place of under root A. Let me write it A raised power 1 upon 2. To this we multiply by Q. Okay, then we have minus the total cost function, which is being given us as 4Q square plus 10Q plus A. This will be the profit function, and let's rearrange it. So profit will be equal to, this Q is multiplied to each of these terms, so we get 100Q minus 3Q square plus 4Q A raised power 1 upon 2 minus 4Q square. This minus is multiplied to each of these terms, so we have minus 10Q minus A. Okay, let us do some addition. Let us see the like terms here. In fact, so we have 100Q minus 10Q, it comes out to be 90Q, minus 3Q square minus 4Q square, it becomes minus 7Q square. Then we have plus 4Q A raised power 1 upon 2 minus A, this term, last term. This is the profit function of the monopolist. Now at equilibrium, what will happen? At equilibrium, the monopolist will choose its output level and what we call the advertising expenditure to maximize profit. And let me write it here. So at so let us see if it is usable. So at equilibrium, monopolist will choose the level of output and advertising expenditure to maximize profit. Okay, so there are two in fact the equations for profit maximization. That means first order condition for profit maximization have two equations. That is, first is that, let me see if I can write it here. I can write, so the derivative of profit function with respect to output should be equal to 0. What we call at equilibrium, the marginal profit should be equal to 0. This is the one condition. And another condition, this, let us say this is one condition, and second condition should be the change in the profit due to the change in the advertising expenditure. It should be equal to 0. So we have two profit maximizing conditions here. So let us take the derivative with respect to Q of the profit function of this function. So that means d pi upon dq will be equal to, let's take the derivative of Q will be 1, so we are left with 90, minus derivative of Q square is 2Q, so 2 into 7 is 14, q plus derivative of q will be 1, so we are left with 4 a raised power 1 upon 2, and derivative of this will be, since we are taking partials with respect to q, so it is assumed to be constant, its derivative is 0, and we set it equal to 0. This is the first condition. Similarly, second condition is that derivative of profit function with respect to advertising expenditure, it should also be equal to 0. So let's take the derivative this time with respect to a. So since no a is involved in the first two terms, the derivative will be equal to 0. Derivative of a raised power 1 upon 2. So a raised power 1 upon 2 will become coefficient, then we have 4, then we have q, and the exponent of a is subtracted by 1. 1 upon 2 minus 1 is minus 1 upon 2, and derivative of a in the last term will be 1, and we set it equal to 0. So here it will become 4 upon 2 is 2, so we get 2 q raised power minus 1 upon 2 is equal to, transposing this, it will become plus 1. We can write it in this fashion: 2 divided by q raised power 1 upon 2, transposing this q to denominator, exponent sign will change, is equal to 1, which implies, am I missing something here? Obviously I am missing some term here, that is, we have a raised power 1 upon 2 here, not q. Okay, so we have q times a raised power minus 1 upon 2, and here also we have twice q a raised power 1 upon 2. Okay, so here we have 2q a raised power 1 upon 2. When we transpose, it will, the exponent sign will change. Okay, so cross multiplying here, we will get a raised power 1 upon 2 is equal to twice q. Okay, now we plug the value of a raised power 1 upon 2 in this equation. So in place of a raised power 1 upon 2, we write 2q in this equation. So we have 90 minus 14q plus 4. In place of a raised power 1 upon 2, we write 2q, and we set it equal to 0. So we have 90 minus 14q plus 8q is equal to 0. So now the so we will get here 90 minus 6q is equal to 0, or 6q is equal to 90, dividing both sides by 6, q will be equal to 6 ones are 6, now 6 5s are 30. That means the level of output that the monopolist will produce will be equal to 15 units. Now what about the advertising expenditure? Simply plug q is equal to 15 in this equation. So a raised power 1 upon 2 is equal to 2 times 15. So a raised power 1 upon 2 is equal to 30. Transposing this under root, it will become square, which implies a will be equal to 30 square. Okay, let me see if it is inside the visible area. So let me write it here. So a will be equal to 30 square, or I guess I am done with the, or a will be equal to 3 into 3 is 9, so we get 900 here. Okay, I don't have the space here, so which implies advertising expenditure will be equal to 900. So we got the level of advertising expenditure, our level of output. Now we need to find out the price. For that, let me see Joy Marshall. So let's write it here. So P will be equal to 100 minus 3, the value of optimal output is 15, then we have plus 4 under root a, in place of a we have 900. When we solve this, so this is 100 minus 3 into 15 is 45, 100 minus 45 is 55, so we will get 55 under root 900 is 30, so 30 into 4 is 120, so we get 120 here, So P will be equal to 155, so 5 go 5 go 7, 1 go 1. So the profit maximizing price will be equal to 175. I hope I make myself clear in this video. Thank you.